Women in Edo State, under the banner of Edo Women, have called on the former governor of the state, Senator Adams Oshiomhole, to issue a public apology to the family of Governor Godwin Obaseki for his insensitive comments about the governor's wife, Mrs. Betsy Obaseki, regarding her childlessness. The women met this demand during a protest led by Honorable Maria Edeko, Deputy Speaker of the Edo House of Assembly, on Tuesday in Benin. Speaking on behalf of the women, Honorable Edeko urged Oshiomhole to apologize publicly to the women of Edo State and humanity in general. She said, "It is sad to see a person who has once governed the state condescend to this level. It is a taboo, a sacrilege, and desecration of Edo land to mock a woman or a couple for not bearing a child. Those who mock others for not having children yet could be described as one of the most ungrateful persons on earth. We rise as women of Edo, home and abroad, to denounce this shameful conduct of Adams Oshiomhole. We call on all women and couples that have gone through the pain of not bearing a child on time or not having a child at all to curse this man," she charged. The women eulogized Mrs. Obaseki, describing her as a woman who had demonstrated the power of brilliant compassion and foresight in her dealings in the state. The First Lady has ensured the inclusion and protection of children, women, and vulnerable persons in the state. She continues to say, "We thank our governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, for loving and respecting our mother." The women added that Mrs. Obaseki's comments during the People's Democratic Party governorship candidates campaign did not warrant such a vile response from Oshiomhole. The First Lady said without a First Lady in the government house, women will be marginalized. "We as Edo women have not seen the wives of the other candidates," she said. Nze, interestingly, this has been going back and forth in Edo State since Mrs. Obaseki, the wife of Edo State governor, during a political rally last week, Thursday, was urging women to vote for the PDP candidate. And she premised that argument on the fact that, according to her, the PDP candidate was the only candidate with a wife. And then, in response, Obaseki also made the Edo people know that, during a press conference, made Edo people know that the candidate, the APC candidate, has children, one a medical doctor, the other one a lawyer, and one of them gave an address to the public during one of the father's political rally. And he went for that to say, why a woman who doesn't have a child? Why tell somebody that he doesn't have a wife? And in the first instance, that for people who are so loving, if they claim they are loving, they could not even adopt children, and all of that. And that has generated a lot of controversy and backlash on Oshiomhole. And now, in the wake of all this, Edo women are saying, come out and apologize publicly for the statement, the childless comments made against the governor and his wife. What is your take on this development?
It is a pity. It is a pity that the two personalities in Edo State could bring themselves, because of politics, to this low level. I cannot completely condemn Adams Oshiomhole from the surface without digging to the root of the matter. And if you look at it, you see that something triggered something. In as much as both of them were really very, very wrong in their statements, Obaseki had no reasons to accuse a man who could not control his marriage, which you don't know if the fault came from him or from the wife or from ancestral spirits, because such things do happen. You don't know. You
mean Mrs. Obaseki?
No, Mrs.
Obaseki.
Monday. Mrs. Monday. Monday was accused of having children without...
And not a wife.
A wife. Which that before they will come to the point of having children, there must be a mutual consent, either of marriage or just to partner together and raise children, best known to them. That's why I put it that the fault could come from either the man himself or the wife, or from ancestral spirits who might have, in one way or the other, in order to carry out the causes they lay on people. But however, whatever, I respect Mondo Pueblo, you know, as a man, even though he is not with a wife. You know, by his level, by his standard of life, he can afford even 10 wives. But he chose to stay without. That is his choice. And we have to respect his personal decision on that. So Obaseki does not have any right to go and abuse him on that. Then coming to Oshiomhole, condescending to the point of speaking guile, if I may call it taboo. Because at your level, you shouldn't allow politicking to shave your sense of reasoning. And I think if it were to be when people were really keeping to their cultural stand, Oshiomhole would have been banished for that statement.
How about Mrs. Obaseki?
No, I'm coming.
Are you, from what you're saying,
I'm trying to balance it.
One offense appeared to be lighter than the other.
No, one led to the other. I will come to it because look, one thing, if you want to judge a case between man and woman, blame the man first. If you really want to make peace. So, I mean, I'm a priest.
All right,
number one. Number two, I'm advocate of the masses. And I know what masses feel like. Now, Adams Oshiomhole ought to be banished for making such utterance.
Okay.
In fact, his statement is abuse to God, a direct abuse to God, because nobody can have children by his power. Yes, everybody feels light and fine during the process, but you don't have anything to contribute to making sure that conception occurs. And even when conception occurs, you don't have power to retain the fetus in the womb. And when the fetus are developed to a full whatever, you don't even have power to bring the child alive. So what right does he have to abuse this woman, a woman of this level, of which up till now I never knew, if not that Adams Oshiomhole came to tell me that Obaseki, Mrs. Betsy Obaseki is childless. And if you can look at it from this angle of this African viewpoint, I salute Obaseki, Governor Obaseki. I salute him, and he should be honored for this, keeping a childless woman even at his level of he has attained in life. Yet he kept the woman, running with the woman, governing Edo State with the woman, and the woman has proven beyond every reasonable doubt that with or without a child, a woman can still live. So she's a legacy to other women who are deprived of children early in life. They shouldn't kill themselves. It is not a do or die affair. It is not something you feel like if you don't get it, you die. You have seen that Mrs. Obaseki has lived her full life together with the husband in joy, in happiness, without a child. Yes, since it is God that gives children, and God has decided in his magnanimity to deny them children, they're okay with it. They still serve their God. They still live their normal life. They still govern Edo State. He has finished 8 years and will be bowing out in no time from now. And that is an honor. So we salute Obaseki. We salute the wife for her courage and doggedness, not even going to adopt. They say if this is God's will for us, it is okay for us. So people should learn that you don't have a child doesn't mean your own world has ended. Because you've seen women go extra mile just to make sure that, even to the point of letting another man bathe them naked, which is an insult to the husband. Right. So coming to the side of, I think Oshiomhole must have taken his correction from my rebuke. But coming to the other side, remember, it was the small hand that went and pulled the bigger hand that caused the slap.
Interesting.
Yes. It was the small hand that pulled, because if this woman had kept her mouth, forget this man and his family, do politics, do campaign, do not go personal. What do you gain by personal attacks on individuals? And this is bringing us to the level of politics we are playing in this country.
And in your opinion, what Mrs. Obaseki said, what she has said, poking the personal life of
the governorship candidate of APC.
Is that not a taboo as well?
were not a taboo in its full sense because
Also,
of the level of the height of offense. Now look at it from this angle. Because you are trying to, like, bring in the taboo aspect of, look at
hold on. From the way you have spoken, it is clear you condemned both actions. Granted. However, in your opinion, one has more weight than the other. Now, the truth remains that people have different pain. One person's pain may be infertility. Another person's pain may be singlehood, not getting married. Because, like it or yes, there is stigmatization when certain persons, when they get to certain age, particularly in African society, in Nigeria as well, and the person is not married. If you have money and you're unmarried, it's a problem. You don't have money and you're married, it's a problem. God forbid you are an unmarried woman. It's a problem. Now, it's even worse when you marry and you divorce. The stigmatization on that one is on a very different level altogether. So, one might be dealing with childlessness, granted. Another might be dealing with not being successful in marriage. People feel pain differently. So when you poke one person for childlessness, and you say because the person is childless, the level of her pain is more, it is still the same tears that are shared at night by different persons because they feel it differently. Some persons might be single mothers, but their prayer day in, day out is that they have a father figure for their children. When you poke that single mother at that level, in that level, she will retaliate with your childlessness if she decides to stoop at your level. Hold on. And then people will now come out and say, oh, you have a child, it's just that you're a single mom. And this one, you're childless. This one is, it doesn't make sense. Those who live in glass house
shouldn't throw stones.
Shouldn't throw stones. That's what it is. But it becomes a problem when issues like this happen. In the first instance, even according to INEC rules and regulation, campaign should be issue-based campaign. Yeah. But leading people on, and you don't have Mrs. Obaseki, with respect to her and her office, does not have anything concrete to tell the women of Edo State. She doesn't have any issue-based campaign that she can actually bring to the table to urge women to vote for her candidate. What she could do was to go below the belt, to accuse a man of not having a wife when you are not even privy to certain information that could have led to that position in her life. That's painful. Yeah. In the traditional setting, when men are unmarried at a certain age, whether you have money or not, you are insulted for it. To a large extent. Yeah. In fact, in the Igbo culture, the king's men of that man go as far as contributing or even marrying for that man and forcing the wife on him. That's the level of the pain men feel when they don't have a wife. So you see, this pain is different. But people are expecting, because Opeblo is a man, he should swallow it. No. And hold on, and then Oshiomhole, unfortunately, is not that kind of man or elder, and he has come out to remind Mrs. Obaseki of her own pain. She poked at somebody else's pain, and she's been poked back, and the world wants to stop. Edo women are saying a PDP women in this instance, because they are led by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly, which is PDP. Now they are saying Oshiomhole should apologize. And if I might quote exactly what the woman said, they even made an excuse for what she said. She said, hold on, because she said something to the fact that what the First Lady said was even true, and there was nothing wrong with what she had said. How do you justify that action, and then in the same breath you're demanding for an apology? There was a catalyst to that.
Now let us look at it from this angle. Do you know why I said that one offense was bigger than one? I am neither for Obaseki nor for Oshiomhole. I am not standing with Edo Women. I'm not standing with PDP. That's Edo Women PDP, nor Edo Women APC. But look at it. One of the cases here is natural, by faith. It came on them by faith. One was by choice. That of Mondo Okpebholo was by choice. Because Mondo Okpebholo had lived with a woman, stayed with a woman, watched over, bred over pregnancy, had a child, nursed the child, and at a point, the relationship couldn't continue. Something happened, one thing led to the other, and the relation disconnected. Now, he had a choice of either calling his wife back or marrying another. Remember, he's not like a woman. His case is not the same as the case of a single mother. The case of a single mother is that she's praying every day, oh God, send me a father.
What makes you think that Okpebholo, on one hand, is not traumatized by his experience?
No, I cannot think.
You are a reverend.
Yes.
You are a reverend.
Yes.
I am sure you have counseled a lot of people who
That's
are
going
through troublesome marriages, and you will not take away the fact that men cry.
Men do cry.
Men go through pain.
Yes.
And guess what? The society always understands with the woman.
Yes.
And the woman can play the abuse card and it will work.
Yeah.
And in most cases, men are actually the ones being abused, but the society do not give them the leverage to cry out.
Let's not go there.
So no, you're going there.
I'm coming. There's something I want to pull out. Let's spare men of this trouble for now.
How do you spare men?
No, I'm coming.
Because a man right now is being insulted.
One, I have cancelled men who are up there. I've cancelled men who are down there, who still face this same challenge. You see that oftentimes men who are down there that are faced with the challenge of struggling with their relationships, you see that their problem is, one, grant me permission to seek another wife, when there's some churches and the denominations like, barricade men using the scriptures not to marry when their wife or their spouse is still alive. Now, you see in this case, they will be asking you, they go through the trauma because there is a restriction. But in some situations where there are no restrictions, once a man cannot put up with a woman, he goes for another. Now, it is his choice. Man leaves the game.
Men are different.
I'm coming now. Yes, I know that men are different.
There are men.
And I'm sure that Okpebholo is not that kind of man you are trying to hold.
You cannot say that.
The reason is because I don't know him very personally.
That he's a public figure does not mean that people know about his personal life. Personal life is very different.
It's personal and private.
And Okpebholo's personal life is not a public knowledge.
Yeah.
You would agree with me. And the fact that a man can actually remarry when he wants, and he can marry as many as he wants, I mean, regardless of religion, men marry as many wives as they want.
Yeah.
Traditionally, it's allowed.
Yeah.
And some religions even allow it.
Yeah.
And even in the same religion where polygamy is even allowed, most men don't practice polygamy.
Yeah.
They are not foolish for doing
based
that.
on choice. That's why I said
sometimes one wife is a handful.
Yeah.
Then, on the other hand, some men actually get so traumatized in the process or from their experiences that they choose to remain single. Not that they don't want to.
That's why I say choice.
The choice is not born from convenience.
The psychological aspect.
But that is what it is. It's not born out of convenience. And then you will not take away the fact that it could be a deep pain for him. So when someone pokes you where you are pained, the person should expect a response. Now, if someone goes to where you have a deep injury and pokes you, or let me even give you an instance. Probably you have a dislocation on your foot, your big toe, right? And someone deliberately, intentionally matches you with all the weight she carries on that big toe, and it's intentional. And the person expects you to be silent and applaud her, because that's what the Edo women are saying. They are saying, if I may quote what they said that the women added that Mrs. Obaseki's comments during the People's Democratic Party governorship candidates campaign did not warrant such vile response from Oshiomhole. Now, they are justifying it and saying it does not warrant it. Someone deliberately, intentionally goes to a place where you have a deep wound, probably a wound that is touching the nerve or a bone, and the person does not expect you to push her away or push him away from continuously, grating on that wound.
That injury, that pain on you.
In the first instance, the person deliberately going to that area of wound is wicked. And you cannot take away that fact. So now, the thing is, in your opinion, probably the person that matched the person had crutches, doesn't have one leg, has only one leg, and is walking with crutches.
And he's using that one leg to find trouble.
And now, he's using that one leg to find trouble. So because he has one leg,
is powerful.
Because he has one leg, he should be applauded, and pity should be extended to someone who is crippled and is deliberately looking for truth. Make it make sense to me.
Now, one thing I picked from your analysis is that you said that the person who is standing single could be a choice. It could be, which means we are not certain whether he chose to remain single or fate brought it to him.
Go with the analysis of the person who has dislocation on the leg and someone with
why I don't want to press on that, because I see the
because it doesn't exactly support your argument.
I see your narration here as being deeper than what we are looking at. Look at what. No, we will come up.
It is a reality.
Permit me to come up with it. Now, look at it from this angle. Somebody with deep wound in his toe, and somebody with one leg, using that one leg to step intentionally on that is a different ball game here.
That's what played out.
Yeah, it looked like, but a different ball game.
That is what played out.
Because you are trying to justify the wound in the big toe of the APC governorship candidate. I'm
not justifying the wound.
You are saying
I am actually giving you a simple example.
No, I don't want to go. I don't want to tell your part.
In your opinion, that's what happened, because Mrs. Obaseki, Mrs. Obaseki has 1,001
other campaign
issue-based. Yes, and she chose.
Okay.
Makes sense to me.
Yes, she chose.
In the first instance,
she chose.
In the first instance,
it was by her will.
In the first instance, can we even look at how uneducated and pedestrian that statement is? Telling women to not vote a candidate because the candidate doesn't have a wife. I mean, in developed climes, we have seen politicians. Hold on.
Okay.
Politicians who didn't have wives, and they did very well. As well as female politicians who didn't have husbands, and they did so well. Why do we stigmatize people? Why do we stereotype people? And yet we want development to happen, and we want things to move. The fact that a politician has nothing else to present to, well, I wouldn't say she's a politician in this instance, because she is the first lady. She's the wife of a politician.
Yeah.
Probably that could lead to an uneducated statement. Because of all things to say, in a political rally, is that people should not vote for a candidate because the candidate doesn't have a wife.
Now,
when you now look at the issues bedeviling Nigerians now, the economic hardship, the crisis people are going on. I'm not making case for any political party, by the way. But I am looking at issue-based campaign, and when people who you expect to do better ridicule themselves, and they now play the pity card, because this is emotional blackmail, and they now play the pity card that, oh, Oshiomhole came to tell you are childless. Why in the first place will you tell people to disqualify someone's effort because the person doesn't have a wife, according to you? How do you justify this action? But then, Nze, we are almost out of time for this. Yes, it's time to go to Imo State at this point.
Before we go to Imo State, let's put it this way. The woman played a role of a woman. And also considering
I'm a woman, I can never play that role.
I'm coming. Also considering her environment, she felt she needed to woo. She needed to woo
with
people
what exactly?
With the word that the man that is coming does not tolerate us.
Do you know?
The woman in this context.
Do you know that this statement you have made has completely reduced the intelligence of Edo women?
Yes, did we not condemn the action of the woman and the action of the man?
When you say that she's wooing the people with what she has, now that is what a woman would do. Nze, I take exception to that statement. Hold on. I am a woman, and there are things you can't catch me doing.
Based on your conviction.
Now, not based on my conviction.
That's just that.
Hold on.
Because you still see other women like you do it.
Hold
even
on.
when you can't do it.
Hold on. That's why I just told you that. By your statement, you have simply reduced the intelligence of Edo women. Because how do I sit, hold on, with what is going on in Nigerian political and economic firmament? Be you a first lady or whatever position, you come to me and you tell me not to vote for somebody because the person does not have a wife.
Cannot cope with women.
Hold on. The person has a daughter whom he has trained.
And a woman. The daughter is a woman.
The daughter is a woman.
Good.
You understand? Now, and at no point has the daughter come out to say, I am not in good terms with my father, or my father abused me, or my father is maltreating me. Let's make that clear. But for me, as a person, to be seated, and you, a politician, you come to me and tell me not to vote for somebody because the person doesn't have a wife. That statement is an insult to my, it's an insult to my intelligence. And believe you me, the first lady will have it hot because my comeback will be from serious issue-based questions that she may not even have knowledge of, even though she's in the government. That's what I'm saying. When you say coming to woo women with that, how do you, by one statement, reduce the entire intelligence of an entire Edo women?
Not entire Edo women, but the women, the Edo women, Edo PDP women.
Oh, they are not intelligent.
Look at what they... No, I'm not the one saying. Already, I condemn the woman's action. I condemn Adams Oshiomhole's action. But look at what the Edo women said. That what the governor's wife said does not warrant. Which means their intelligence has been reduced already. I am not the one reducing their intelligence. Their intelligence they were reduced by them have been reduced by themselves.
So in your opinion, the PDP women are not very intelligent.
They might be intelligent, but they didn't act it here. From what we see in the statement they released, they didn't show their intelligence. So I'm condemning Mrs. Obaseki for her going to look for trouble. I'm also condemning Adams Oshiomhole for not really taking restraint and behaving like an elder statesman he ought to be.
All right, we'll go on a short break. When we come